constant trolls in the comments is really annoying, and it is affecting my mental health, and it is something that is bothering me, because even though I'm trolling them back, they're going as far as like digging up old tweets of me saying that I hate white people, which is helping them with their narrative. Now my brother is a squatter. Squatters have rights.
If he
Squatters have rights. If my brother's a squatter, he has rights. Because let me tell you, in New York City, most people would have ignored her or done worse to her.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the Citi Bike Karen story once again. Yes, a story that I know that you guys are getting sick and tired of hearing about, and trust me, I'm getting sick and tired of talking about it, okay? I really am. Hopefully, this is my last video on this story, okay? Story that should have never gotten national attention. However, it got national attention because you had a young black teenager accusing a pregnant white physician's assistant of stealing his Citi Bike, okay? That is what he accused her of doing in a viral interaction, a viral video that shows the pregnant white woman attempting to rent a Citi Bike while the young black teenager was also on the bike, okay? And the young black teenager decided to post this video on the internet, again, alleging that she was trying to steal the bike from him. And this young pregnant white woman was doxxed, harassed. She was placed on leave from her job. She was seen as the aggressor and the person that's in the wrong in this situation, okay? She had her life ruined, okay, because of this, okay? Until she came out and provided receipts that she's actually innocent and that she had the rights to rent that bike, okay? And then at that point, she raised over $100,000 for her legal defense because she's trying to keep her job. And at that point, the story should have been over. However, the story continues because after Sarah Jane Connery raised over $100,000 for her defense, the family of the young black teenager saw dollar signs and has decided to come out and tell their side of the story, crying victim, crying, woe is me. We're the actual real victims in this situation. Look at our receipts, okay? And specifically, the sister of the young black teenager who accused the pregnant white woman of trying to steal his bike is the one that's leading the charge here, okay? She is showing her brother's receipts, which basically prove that the white pregnant woman had the right to rent the bike, that she was actually in the right, okay? Because the receipts show that her brother docked the bike, which means that the bike was available for rent, and he had intent of trying to sit on the bike for an extended period of time until he got ready to go home because he did not want to pay extra to continue renting the bike. And they tried to excuse gaming the system or attempting to game the system by saying that, well, we're poor, woe is me, right? We're poor, black, and we're immigrants, okay? They're trying to play the victimhood card here very, very, very hard, okay? And they're basically saying that, hey, because he had his hand on the bike and because he was trying to gatekeep the bike, that means that he had rightful possession of the bike and that Sarah Jane Connery had no rights to try to rent the bike, and that they've been so traumatized and hurt by the fact that she proved her innocence. And they've come out here and they've raised almost $80,000 for I don't know what, okay? But they've raised money and they're continuing to cry victim in this situation, okay? And the sister, who, again, has not really done a good job of defending her brother, she's actually made her brother look even worse in the court of public opinion, but she's coming out here and continuing to talk about this situation and to play victim. And I want to play this conversation, her latest conversation that she had with another dude on social media who's also a perpetual victim, because the race hustle, the victimhood lottery, right, slash fundraiser that's happening here is truly fascinating to behold, because you have a whole lot of stupid people in this country that have donated to these individuals, okay? I mean, they've almost raised $80,000, okay, off of this obvious grift, which again is an obvious grift, right? Because if you actually listen to the sister talk, again, the elevator is not going all the way to the top floor with this one. But at one point in this interview, I'm not going to play it in the next clip, but it was in the first clip that I played at the beginning of this video. She admits that New York City is a dangerous place and that Sarah Jane Comrie was lucky that worse things did not happen to her in that situation, which would justify her screaming for help, which basically undercuts the whole argument that these people are making, which is that she was wrong for weaponizing her white tears. She wasn't actually in any real danger, but she just admitted that New York City is dangerous. And in situations like that, she could have been hurt a lot more, okay, considering what normally happens in that city. Absolutely amazing stuff. Again, the light bulb is just not too bright, okay? And I want you guys to listen to this interview, this victimhood fest, in which she just makes things worse.
So yeah, basically my brother riding Citi Bike. He rides Citi Bike regularly. He's in a program where he gets discounted Citi Bike rides. So he routinely rides the Citi Bike, docks the Citi Bike, rides the Citi Bike, docks the Citi Bike. On this particular day, he rode his Citi Bike, docked the Citi Bike at the dock. And when you dock your Citi Bike, you have to wait 2 minutes before you can take it out again. That's why he was waiting at the bike rack. So he docks his bike, waits the 2 minutes, and he's literally planning on leaving. And the woman comes up and asks, "Hey, can I ride this bike?" He says no. First she asks his friends, they say no, then she asks him and he says no. And he's the only one out of all of them that's not on the bike. So she sees the opportunity he's like holding the handlebars, standing in the vicinity of the bike. She takes the opportunity to get on the bike because he's not sitting on it and scan the QR code. And the QR code is like to get the bike is in between the handlebars. So if someone's holding the handlebars and their body is on the bike, in order to scan the QR code, you violate their personal space.
Yeah, so I want to pause here real quick because I want you guys to notice how she's changing her story here. First and foremost, she tries to make it seem like her brother docked the bike simply for a couple minutes so that he could immediately ride the bike back home. We know that's not true, evidenced by the receipts that she provided showing that he did not actually take the ride back home on the bike until 30 or 40 minutes after he initially docked the bike, okay? He didn't immediately go back home after the interaction with Sarah Jane Comrie. He didn't immediately go back home after docking the bike. It took 30 or 40 minutes for him to initially go back home. So we know that he docked that bike with the intention of holding it for an extended amount of time. Again, this is according to her receipts, okay? Her receipts. Second of all, okay, notice how she's basically trying to change the story about how her brother had possession of the bike, okay? Initially, they said, well, he had one hand on the bike, okay? And that she wants us to believe that a pregnant white woman walked up to a group of 5 young black teenagers, saw that most of them was on their bikes. All of them was on their bikes except one, and her brother was on the bike. In this story, he was grabbing the handlebars, right? But he wasn't sitting on the bike, but he was grabbing on the handlebars with his body on the bike, right? You see how the story's changing? The initial story was that, well, he had his hand on the handlebar, okay? It wasn't that his whole body was on the bike, okay? Which is what she just said, his body was on the bike, okay? And apparently this pregnant white woman decided to jump on a bike and impale herself, okay? Again, among a group of black male teenagers, okay? This is what she wants us to believe. Again, it's so ridiculous that they can't even find a race hustling lawyer to represent them, right? Again, it's funny. In the NewsOne article, right, they said that they contacted a prominent civil rights attorney who initially tweeted about the video, aka Ben Crump. Allegedly, that's Ben Crump. That's what I think they're talking about. And apparently, he told them that he doesn't practice that kind of law and suggested that she contact the New York State Bar Association for a referral. So this is so bad that Ben Crump is like, I don't want anything to do with this. He didn't give her a personal referral for an attorney who might want to take a look at this. I'm not sure exactly what case they have here. There are no criminal charges or anything like that. Again, I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for from an attorney. But again, it's so bad that he wanted nothing to do with it, and he didn't even give them a personal referral. Okay, all the race hustling lawyers out there in America said, nah, we don't want any part of this. That's how ridiculous this story is, right? It's so hilarious.
So that's basically what happened. And then in the midst of her behaving the way that she has, they start recording. Obviously, these are teenagers in the digital age. Like, what are they not going to record? What are they not going to post on the internet? Like, their entire lives has been, they've lived through the internet being
Literally.
the one place to be. Do you understand? Like
Right.
they've lived through the internet being a focal point in their lives. Every single thing they do is via the internet. So why are they not gonna post and record this video? You know, like she was behaving aggressively. My brother does not bother anybody. He does not harass anybody. That's not his deposition. That's not how he was raised. He is not the type of person to do something like that. So the fact that he recorded this and he was so upset by the situation and bothered, concerned, because he's like, why did this happen to me? You know, like why did this happen to me? And then, you know, we're going through the motion, trying to get like assistance, trying to talk to organizations that are made to help people navigate these kind of things, because immediately after it being posted, it became a media storm. It went viral, the videos everywhere. So obviously, naturally, when something like this happens, you have to lawyer up, you have to get ready for what might happen. And we were, my family and I, and mostly me, because I'm the one that had to like do all the stuff, like seek out the lawyer, just kind of make sense of the situation.
Right.
When I would reach out to people, they would not know how to support me. They'd ask me like, you know, what kind of case are you looking to get? And I wasn't really sure, and I'm still not sure. Because
you have no idea what the hell is going on, right? You see what she just said there. She was like, well, I reached out to lawyers, and it was like, well, what type of case are you looking to get? AKA, we don't know what are you guys asking for? What do you want, right? Like, there's nothing here. You don't have anything. There are no formal accusations that have been levied against your brother. Your brother's not being accused of any type of criminal charges or anything like that. Sarah Jane Connery has moved on with her life, okay? She's not accusing your brothers or the young man of anything at all, okay? You guys are the ones that are continuing to try to make this a thing when you don't have anything. There's nothing here, okay? But they know that, right? They know that. They're just upset that Sarah Jane Connery raised over $100,000, and then they're like, no, we got to get our money, right? We're the real victims. We need to get our money. But again, what do you need money for? You just told us that you reached out to lawyers and they don't really want to take your case because you don't have a case. You don't have anything here.
Sure, and I'm still not sure, because this whole situation is just ridiculous. You know, like it's when we think about it in the grand scheme of things, the behavior is abhorrent, and this could have ended way more terribly than it did. And in the video, you can see like the sarcasm. Like you can look at the social cues and just kind of see like this is not a person that's truly in distress. This is not a person that is truly feeling unsafe or whatever the case might be. You know, it's just kind of ridiculous to me, and I'm very sad for my brother and his friends, because growing up you hear, or even like in modern times, like as recently as 2023, you know, like we see how the lives of Black men are endangered regularly just for them doing things that they are, you know, and they actually get an experience. They get this experience at such a young age. You know, this type of stuff can taint your mindset moving forward. You would like to think, right, that your race doesn't put you at a disadvantage. You would like to think that you are awarded the same privileges as everyone else. But when you are faced with a situation that helps you realize that's not the case, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
You know, even through me making an initial attempt to exonerate, because that's literally, we have to be as dramatic as they are being. We have to
prove our innocence in a system that tells you you're not innocent until proven guilty. But for Black people, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Right.
And in my journey to exonerate my brother, people were telling me that I shouldn't say anything because the receipts are choppy and it's not gonna look like what it is, and all this nonsense. And of course that's gonna permeate your brain, because we've never been through something like this. My family has never been through something like this. Like, we have never been in a situation we have never been in a situation where someone is behaving this way, doing things like, we have never been in a situation like this. So even on the journey to exonerate my brother, people were like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. And at first I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, his name is not out there. His face is not out there. No one knows who he is. No one, you know, like he's a minor. He's going to college. He has all these things to look forward to. So we shouldn't say anything. But then as I'm going through the week, I'm like,
we can get this money though, because there's a whole lot of stupid people in this country. So let's come out and cry victim, right? Pretend like we're hurt, even though she just admitted that nobody knows who we are. Nobody knows who the brother is. Nobody knows who was involved. Basically, there's no harm being done here. There are no criminal charges. She's essentially admitting that had they just said nothing, had they just moved on with their lives, this would have been water under the bridge, right? This would have been water under the bridge. Because unlike Sarah Jane Connery, who was doxxed and harassed and could potentially lose her job, your brother does not need to be exonerated, right? He doesn't need to be exonerated. He's not being accused of a crime. Nobody is formally accusing him of a crime. He was not losing his job. Nobody knows who he is. You speaking out is literally totally unnecessary. It is self-inflicted controversy or trauma or whatever you want to call it, okay? Because that's the card she's trying to play here. But she had to speak out because, again, the race hustler was in her ear telling her, we can get this money, right? We can raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for you if you speak out, big sis.
I need to take a stand. I have to help my brother because nobody else wants to help him.
Right.
That's the only reason why I came to TikTok. Me as a person, I would never in my life come on the internet and tell the internet anything that's going on in my personal life. I don't like that. Even having the constant trolls in the comments is really annoying, and it is affecting my mental health, and it is something that is bothering me, because even though I'm trolling them back, you know, they're going as far as like digging up old tweets of me saying that I hate white people, which is helping them with their narrative, right? That I'm a grifter and that, oh, my family's doing this for money. We don't. We've struggled for years and we've never had our hands out to ask anybody for anything.
Right.
You know? And when I say that, I mean that.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because according to you, not me, right? According to your family, not me, your own public assistance, which means that you're getting a handout, right? Also, on top of that, your brother allegedly tries to game the system, according to you, not me, with Citi Bike by getting free rides, by docking a bike and then gatekeeping a bike to make sure that he can get free rides. You're also talking about woe is me, boohoo, whining and crying about being poor, okay, while at the same time begging for money in a GoFundMe. So to say that you don't have your hands out, or that you're not asking for anything, or that you never asked for anything, I'm not sure how accurate that is. Again, based off your story, okay, not mine. I'm not saying it. I'm just using what you're saying.
100%.
Sure.
So to hear people say that, oh, they're a grifter and that she's doing this because she doesn't like white people. There has never been a situation. There has never been a situation in my life in which I have ever tried to publicly denounce a white person for something that they've done that can affect their life negatively. I'm a black person. I'm a black person.
And it's like
being racist.
They make up these situations, like they say that they try to use your old tweets, but you were not the one who tried to take the bike from her.
Correct.
You didn't plan. You wasn't sitting around planning, well, what can we plan to make this happen? And this is the society we live in. I have a hashtag called Wild Black. And this is one of the things. We can't ride a bike while black without having to interact with bigots and racists. And then to look at the way it was looked at, because I've addressed several people on here that want to put, I don't mind. I'm here to cuss out, but they'll spin it in such a way, and you'll leave like, but wait a minute. When did that happen? Like they were talking, like you said, you didn't even want to do this. If your brother could have got out of that unknown, you wouldn't, but they wouldn't leave it alone. And then she hires an attorney,
Yeah.
an employment attorney, not a criminal attorney. Because I like what you said
Right.
about your brother. Your brother's not a thug. Your brother's not anything. He's a college bound graduate.
Literally.
Prom, and these are the things he was thinking about. And then she comes along and weaponizes the same thing that has been weaponized against black men in this country since Emmett Till and before. Because you look at that and it's like she couldn't even turn them on. That's how well, and you still had the guy come over there and say, "Well, boys, look. I'm glad I wasn't in New York that day or in that area, because when he came over there and talking about boys, that's what we gonna do." I was like that would, but we're not here about me. We're here about this situation because we're gonna need bond money for me. And that's what, like you said when we talked on the phone, that these are the things he was supposed to be worried about. And you, like you said, I noticed you only had one video up when I found you on the page.
Yeah.
Because you said you did not want to be here. You're not here, and that's so many of us. We are in places we don't want to be because things are happening to us that we don't want to continue happening to us.
I agree. And if this was a situation in which my brother walked away from the bike and saw her walking up and then ran over and, behaved inappropriately, then none of this would be here today. But that's not the case. He did not leave the bike. He didn't. He didn't leave the
Her
bike.
entitlement. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned that because it was an electric bike, right?
Yeah, so that's the coveted bike. Everybody wants that bike. It requires less effort to pedal and all of those things. But like, it's just crazy to me that people think that this is something that we've invited into our lives on purpose and that we're trying to benefit from it on purpose. That's literally not the case. Like I said, if this would not have happened, I would have been perfectly fine. I would have went on with my life. I would have not had to come on the internet and talk to people and make videos and read these comments. That the comments don't stop. These people are jobless in the comments, constantly trying to jump through hoops. Now my brother is a squatter. Squatters have rights.
If you
Squatters have rights. If my brother's a squatter, he has rights. So now
Right.
what?
Yeah.
We don't care about squatter rights?
No, we don't. Right? We don't care about so-called squatter rights. And thank you for admitting that your brother is a squatter. Again, you know that this family, this sister, has no idea what she's doing. They don't have an attorney, right? Because one, they don't have a real case, okay? There's no criminal activity going on here, anything like that. They don't have anything because she keeps talking, right? And at this point, she's talking herself into a deeper and deeper and deeper hole that I just think that ultimately in the day, all of the criticism that she can't seem to take, okay, that she's getting online, like, for example, people digging up her old tweets, finding out that, hey, she's said some anti-white racist things on the internet. That's happening because you continue to speak out about a situation that you don't have to speak out about, that you could have went on and lived your life if you had just said nothing, because by your own admission, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows your real name. Nobody knows your brother's name. Nobody knows your family. And this situation could have come and gone had you just not said anything, right? Had you just not had said anything, this situation could have come and went. Because once Sarah Jane Connery provided receipts showing that, hey, I'm innocent, I had the right to rent this bike, you could have said nothing and nobody would have batted an eye. This would have been over, right? This would have been over and done with. But because your brother decided to, one, post that video online that he didn't have to post, because first and foremost, his friend ended up giving her the bike, right? So the situation was resolved. She took a bike home. Your brother took the bike home that he wanted. Situation's done. But again, because he decided to post that video on the internet and allege racism and allege that she was trying to steal that bike, that is why this situation happened in the first place. It is clear and obvious that this family is jealous that Sarah Jane Connery raised $100,000 and she has the wrong people in her ear talking to her, telling her to keep this going because they can raise money off of people who are naive and ignorant in this country, right? Which has been successful, but yet you're complaining and crying victim because people are criticizing you for it. People are listening to your story. They're looking at the receipts that you provided that prove that Sarah Jane Connery is innocent. And they're telling you, hey, we don't believe this, and you want to get mad and upset about it. When you did not have to come out. Okay, you did not have to speak about this. Nobody was doxing you. You didn't lose your job. Your brother's not that stressed out about it. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows anything about him. Nobody knows nobody knows anything. But yet they're coming out here and still trying to play this woe is me. Oh, you know, we're going through so much. My brother this, my brother that. And it's like, you didn't get nearly as much backlash as Sarah Jane Connery did. So I really don't understand who you're trying to fool with this victim narrative. Actually, I do understand who you're trying to fool, right? You're trying to fool idiots who are continuing to go along with this. But I would just highly recommend to that family, no, seriously, like, they should just stop talking, right? I mean, you raise almost 80K. It might get to 100K. You should just stop talking, right? And be happy what you have right now. Take the 80, 100K and buy your brother a bike. That way he doesn't have to rent Citi Bikes anymore. That money can be used for his college tuition or whatever, right? Use the money for that and be happy, right? Just be happy, because continuing to talk, continue to come out here and to tell your side of the story is just making you look worse and worse and worse, right? You don't have a case. No lawyer is it seems like no more lawyer wants to represent you. Again, according to that NewsOne article, your own testimony, that should tell you something, right? I mean, if you're having struggles finding legal representation for what we really don't know, what do you need legal representation for? We don't know, but regardless, if you're having trouble finding legal representation, that should tell you something. That should tell you a lot. Maybe, just maybe, you don't really have anything here. Maybe, just maybe, you should just be happy that you've raised the amount of money that you've raised based off a situation where your brother's clearly in the wrong. Because I believe that the gentleman thing to do in that situation, if your brother was truly a gentleman here, is when Sarah Jane Connolly asked for the bike, he should have just instinctively said, hey, ma'am, you can take my bike, right? All those boys there should not have told her no, okay? They allegedly told her no, because this is what the sister's saying. If you believe the sister's story, which is that Sarah Jane Connery came up and asked, okay? Now, Sarah Jane Connery and her lawyer says that that's not the case because nobody was at the bike, right? They weren't actually at the bike. We really don't know. But regardless, I'm just saying, again, your story, it's not making your brother look good, right? It's not making any of those boys look good. It's not making your family look good. You're just looking like what it looks like, that you're trying to raise money off of people who are naive and ignorant. And at this point, you should just be happy with the 80 to 100K that you're going to raise off this. Send your brother to a good school, get him a nice bike so he doesn't have to rent a Citi Bike, and just be happy, okay? Because continuing to talk about this is just not a good look. And I'm saying this because I don't want this young man's sister to talk this family into a situation that they're not going to be able to get out of, okay? I mean, they're pretending like their lives are so bad right now, but again, if she continues to talk, she continues to try to grift off of this story, an obvious L, it's only really going to get worse, because that's how the internet works, okay? Because again, the story gets worse and worse and worse every single time she tells it, okay? And I highly suggest that take the money, be happy, and you get a W. Sarah Jane Connery gets a W. No harm, no foul. Who cares? Move on. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.